How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday breakdown. Thank you for tuning in once again. And today we're just going to go through our trades like normal, and we're going to see what happened in the market, see what we managed to catch, see what we broke down. And yeah, let's see how today went. Starting off as usual, starting with GBPAUD. And what we was anticipating for this pair was expecting price to take a bounce from this level, and if it was strong enough, then to take a break and then retest and head on up to the higher level of 1.82580 area for a bounce off this blue zone. But if it wasn't strong enough, then we was expecting price to pull back and test our lower blue zone area and potentially take a buy from that level. So what actually happened was we saw price didn't quite test our blue zone area before making a push to the downside. We saw price very closely, I mean inches away, the motherfucker, from my pending, inches away from the pending, and then just skyrocketed off to the other side and left without us. But then we did get a trigger of our higher blue zone, so we did get triggered in on this level here, and that was a nice clear test, and then price did pull back from there. So a nice little bit of volatility throughout this zone, and we managed to catch around 50 pips or so from this area before price come down to test this lower area for a true test of this area for a buy. So about 70 pips price did. About 70 pips. Let me get this out of the way. So a nice 70, let's call it 75 pips. So a 75 pip move to the downside to test this lower blue zone, and now it's tested this area for a buy. So we'll see potentially how much we can get out of this by the end of the evening or even tomorrow. We'll see how it looks. Let's keep it moving. Moving on to our next pair. So GBP New Zealand dollar. And for this pair, what we was anticipating was for price to potentially take a bounce from this blue zone area and the green trend line, also the 50 EMA there as well. So quite a lot of support in that area. I was expecting price to bounce off that and potentially push up to test our higher blue zone. But if it wasn't strong enough to do that and weakness kicked in, I was expecting a break of this zone, catch a retest, and then for price to move down to test this lower blue zone for a potential bounce and break retest as well. And what it happened was we saw price came down to test that blue zone area with the trend line, did close below, so we did take the buy here, and then price then decided to push to the downside, for a little bit. We had a little bit of drawdown before price actually came back to test for a retest of that zone. So about 40 pip drawdown, so didn't hit our stop loss. We managed to get out a break even, and then price, we got in for the short of that retest, and then we can see price then took a turn and made a move down to our blue zone area where it closed just on top of that. So we managed to catch around, let's call it 55 pips on this zone here, on this trade here, and then now we're just seeing price making its movements around this area, kind of struggling to continue a push before. I mean, I'm hoping that we get a bounce from this area so we can at least push up to test probably the 50 EMA area before it decides to completely fold in half. But yeah, we'll see what it does, and let's keep it moving to the next pair, which is GBPJPY. And not much movement on this today at all. Very slow, very static. Just a few little bumps. Was anticipating price to break this trend line, this green trend line, and then potentially break and retest our blue zone to come down and test this level for a bounce, and then break and retest as well. And what we saw was for price actually tested our blue zone and then made a little move to the upside from there. So about 27 pips, let's call it 25 pips or so. And then price was moving a little bit choppy, came back, tested again, just bouncing up and down, tested again, and now price is currently just trying to make his decision on what he wants to do. So price is a little bit squeezed here. I mean, if we draw in a nice little wedge here, we can see, I mean, not even from the high, you can even place one from here, you can see price is wedging out. So potentially a nice big move coming on that over the next couple of days. We might be able to get on the positive side of that and end the week strong, make up for those losses that we had on Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And the last pair of the day is going to be gold, as usual. So yeah, on gold, what we was anticipating was for price to push up to this blue zone area, take a retest, and then head on down to our green trend line for about 100 pips, 120 pips or so. And what we saw was price actually came very close to testing our pending area. I've still got my pending there. That motherfucker. Show me some money, motherfucker. Ah, jeez. Gold can just piss you off sometimes, but when it pays, it fucking pays off. So we got to just go with it and stick to our guns. But yeah, gold decided to make a turn from there. Had a push down to the downside. Tested our blue zone. And then after that, we saw price made a strong push to the downside for about 58 pips. So that did hit our stop loss before then pushing right back up to coming very, very close again to our higher blue zone. So this was a bit of a punch in the face. This was, well, it was a punch in the face. But yeah, realistically, if we coulda, woulda, shouldas, but this would have been a very nice trade for us to get back those losses we had at the start of the week. But instead, we ended up taking a loss. The area worked completely fine. It was a beautiful area. It's just we didn't have enough wiggle room with our stop loss. I mean, some of you might trade without stop losses, and fair play to you. Hopefully that works out well. But for me, I know losses, they need to be restricted at all times, because we can't afford to have the house collapse down on us and lose the whole fucking account. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to collect these pips as we go along. So yeah, missed out on some gold there, but I mean, not to worry. We will catch the next moves when they're due and when they're possible. We will catch the next move. So yeah, it is what it is, and just keep it at that. No regrets. But yeah, thanks for tuning in today, guys. That's going to be it for today, and hopefully you managed to get some value out of this. I hope you're enjoying these videos, these breakdowns. I'm enjoying them. I'm trying to put myself out there a little bit more. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's Thursday breakdown. Take it easy, guys.